Hey everyone, welcome back to Track Limit Podcast. We're here at Crater Club Studios. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Feven, Mikey, Claudia. We just finished Austin Grand Prix. A lot. Sprint race weekend, race, drama, FIA, stewards, track limits. Where do we start? I'm taking it to you guys.
I mean, we also had a live track limits event in
Yes, we did.
Toronto
It was really good.
in partnership with Red Bull, and that was epic.
Yes.
Such a great turnout. It was such an amazing way to see like the community locally.
Come
I know
together.
obviously there's a massive fan base and community outside, but just within our home city, it was so fun.
It was
Doing
fun.
track limits live with track limits.
I know. Like
Track limits were tested.
somebody actually came up to me and was like, you know, I didn't know. Like obviously they didn't know the sport much, and they were just at the bar and happened to show to see the event. They're like, I didn't know track limits was a real thing. I thought you just made it up. We're like, in the race it's not a great thing, but in the pod it's a pretty
push the
great,
limits.
We used to do with track limits what Max did with Simply Lovely.
Trademark track
Trademarked
limits.
the name. I think we're a little bit late to that game, but
Yeah, Liberty Media will be up our asses.
Oh yeah, we
I
got
don't
a
know about
season
that one.
desist. Please don't come for us. Okay, so guys, there's so much
let's
to
unpack
unpack.
this.
I mean, you are okay. On the way here,
Yeah.
Claude had some hot takes here.
Ooh, I would love to
I
hear
mean,
this.
where do we start?
Let's start
There
with
was-
your hottest take with
Right.
There was so
Albon.
much. Okay, the rookies were super impressive today.
Yep.
Like
Yes.
showed up and showed out, outperformed their teammates like a bunch.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive, especially considering they have like 3 races or less. Like Liam Lawson has 1 race now for the year. And to take the seat of Daniel Ricciardo is no small,
Statement.
job. So
Yeah.
he really came through.
Yep.
But Colapinto, I mean, embarrassing day a bit for Alex Albon. And I was just thinking, like, we've seen Alex be put in a really positive light because he's outperformed his teammate that's now gone for 2 years.
Yeah.
But like someone else has come in and basically matched him from the very first day or been super close. So like, is he that great or has he just been next to somebody that's really bad?
that's spicy.
Yeah,
That's spicy. Attacking Albon.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? I love
him.
Albon.
Yeah.
I love him. He always tries to find wherever they can maximize, even if the car is not right for the track. One of my favorite races of him was in Montreal. Was it last year? Was it 2 years ago? Probably.
Yeah.
Like where he.
Oh, that triple overtake? That was this year, no?
That was this year.
That was this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or double overtake.
I'm
Yeah.
losing my track of, but there are just often where I'm so impressed with Albon, and then as Claude just said, it's
just
not
took one
it's in contrast. So it will be interesting next year with Sainz. You know, obviously my favorite, one of my favorite drivers on the grid. I really think he has his work cut out for him. I think he may either shine under that pressure or crack. And I my gut is saying that he may crack under that
But
pressure.
that's the same as McLaren. You can say the same.
Yeah.
Albon's had he's been beating his teammate. He's under no pressure.
Yeah.
Lando's been doing the same. Lando was beating Sainz when Sainz was with McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
So like now Lando's under pressure from Piastri. That's the same as Albon. So like yes, Albon is brilliant, but then we see Franco come in and he's challenging Albon. Like Franco got points today. Albon was down in. So the team are obviously playing on a strategy, but yeah, the rookies like insane.
But he did get into contact
At the beginning,
At the
yeah.
beginning,
Yeah,
which took him from P14 to P19. So his race was already over
Yeah.
from that first lap.
Yes, but arguably so was George Russell's.
That's true.
I mean, he started at P20.
But you comparing the
Come on.
Williams to a Mercedes
Yes, but
is
I
not
mean,
a fair comparison.
Though they had upgrades, really. I mean, obviously, it was really unfortunate with Lewis. I mean, he didn't even qualify great, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so there was a lot of talks about a lot of upgrades coming into this weekend, which I was thinking it would be a very entertaining race because there were so many upgrades, and it still was, but it was so unpredictable in that I genuinely thought it would be the McLaren's Max. I was going to say Red Bull. Sorry,
Funny.
McLaren's
Max.
Max.
Yeah, it is
And
just
the
Max.
Mercedes. And I wasn't sure between Mercedes and Ferrari where things were going to be. So to see Ferrari 1-2, they didn't have any upgrades. They just showed up and said, we're going to race and we're going to have a great strategy. And we're going to also rely on Max and Lando, go at it, and then extend our lead. And it was just such a beautiful execution of a real solid team, and I don't think I've seen Ferrari in this great of a just the not just the car pace, but the strategy and the team cohesion. They just work together so well.
Yeah.
They didn't screw up their pit strategy. It was such an immaculate race for the Ferraris.
No, it's a good point. Even where Swish, who was not here, made a great statement. When they brought their Baku upgrades, it was their biggest significant package they want to introduce this year. And when they did, the last 2 races were on street tracks, which made it difficult for them to collect data. And now we're back to real track, and they're really strong. Their pace, sector 1, all those S's, they're dominant. Straight, they had the straight line speed already. So I think the next few races, we got a few races now where it's real tracks. There's nothing stopping them for actually even going for constructors now.
Wait.
And that's an interesting one, because right now, I think we looked at it on the way here. Don't quote me in these numbers, but I think it's McLaren are about 40 points ahead.
Yep.
Ferrari and Red Bull, so it's McLaren, Red Bull, Ferrari.
Yeah.
Ferrari and Red Bull are 8 points separated. So Ferrari will potentially take second.
P2.
What a fall for grace.
But it's
the
true.
Max Verstappen team.
Christian Horner's been saying all along, you need 2 drivers for... Drivers is an individual sport, but for constructors, you need to have both drivers.
Yeah, of course.
Perez hasn't been there for, call it, most of the season. Now, let's say he did well today. Like, he did do well
Where
today.
did he land? He's
7, I think.
7.
Yeah.
But that's not good enough when you've 2 Ferraris that are fighting each other because their drivers are that same. Same McLaren, though both those drivers are fighting each other. You have Red Bull where you see Max, and then you have to
wait.
Where's Checo? And if he's in the top 10, you're like, hey, let's go.
That's
Checo.
a win. That's so sad.
You will stay looking down if you don't see him, and you won't be surprised.
Yeah.
So for constructors, it's
means
not
a
going
lot.
to cut it.
No.
And especially now, and that's the best thing about this end of the season is we have Ferrari, we have McLaren. Mercedes had a bad weekend, but Mercedes were there. Like, they were fighting.
Yeah, George Russell was up there throughout pretty much most of the weekend, whether it's sprint, he was P2 in the sprint qualifying with Max. So, like, it's there. The car with the upgrades are there. I think they also just gambled and introduced it on a sprint weekend where you have no time with a resurfaced track where, like, all the data you pretty much had in the previous years goes out the window. Right? So it was a gamble for all teams. Red Bull.
It's a shame because they had a really good qualifying. Like, they looked super strong during free practice and quali, and then you get to the race and you're like, oh.
What happened?
Oh, that was so disappointing.
Russell left all his upgrades in the wall.
Yeah.
But Toto came out after the race and said, Lewis doesn't lose a car in 5 laps. The car was not there.
No, for sure.
He completely said to Lewis it wasn't his fault. The car it was good for qualifying, but it wasn't. It was too snappy.
Yeah.
Also was in the same corner. Wasn't it the same turn?
I think it was
very similar.
As where George binned it yesterday.
It's a massive high speed and you have to take the curve, so you can easily unsettle the car.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So wait, guys, was Sainz sandbagging on the radio message when he was talking about he's smelling fuel,
the oil? That was concerning.
Whoa.
Yeah, at the there was a halfway through, maybe it was lap 20. I don't remember exactly, but it was kind of fairly early on where it was Leclerc, Max, and Sainz. And it was pre-pitting, and he was complaining on the radio, and I was saying he's either sandbagging, or he might DNF. And no, that stress, my whoop picked it up. I couldn't breathe. I was like, oh my god, because at that point I knew if they played their undercut and their pit strategy, they could. Oh, do you hear that?
Wow.
I think we need to address the roof.
There's
Is a protest going on outside?
I don't know if you can, if the mics are picking it up, but if it is,
Hey,
sorry.
so be it.
We live in the city.
This way.
Yeah. But anyways, I was thinking, oh my god, I don't know how the Ferraris will do, or how Sainz was going to do, and then they never addressed it after. They just said, the team said, we copy, we're trying to figure it out, essentially, and then nothing. And then when after the pit strategy, I mean, first of all, McLaren did an amazing. The attempt was amazing, just staying out long. But I was in fear that Norris was going to cannibalize. As soon as he got past Verstappen, he was going to cannibalize Sainz. So I was the whole time, I'm like, please. For the first time, I was rooting for Max.
Oh,
for the first time ever. I was like, come on, Max, you could do it. The girls that I was watching it with, they're like, why? I'm like, because he's holding back. He's letting Sainz get away. Anyways, I covered a lot there, but
you did.
Sorry.
But you brought up a good point, Max.
Yeah.
Max and Lando. I have a very strong opinion about this.
Yes,
I want to
let's
hear
hear
your opinion.
Let's hear it first.
Okay. Max back in Brazil with Lewis. Lewis had a better run in him, and Max's defense mechanism was just if Lewis was on this side or this side, just brake late and run him off the track, regardless if you run off the track. Today was a clear example of that.
Yeah.
Lando had a run in him. It's like, okay, if Max was to brake and stay inside the white line, Lando would have gone around him. No, brake late, run Lando off the road. You also run off the road. But then on the rule book, it's like, if you go off the track and you overtake, it's an unfair advantage.
Well, who had the lead coming into the apex? That's the rule.
Sure, if you don't brake, you're always going to have the lead.
Well,
Max didn't brake, had the advantage.
Yeah.
If Max stayed inside track limits, hands up, fair play, that's racing. If you can't maintain your track limit to run the other person off the track,
Yeah.
Yeah, they were
That
both
is-
off.
Yes.
That
But
is wild.
There's a difference where if there was gravel traps there,
Yeah.
with the rule books, the one on the outside always most likely will concede because you're risking your own race, which is how they institute this 5-second penalty. It was like, well, you lost that inside line, you gave it up, and you're forcing yourself back into the race line. Yes, Max also went out, which I agree. I think
so you're
this was
saying Lando should have braked way earlier.
yes,
And
did the switcheroo because like you knew Max was gonna bolt on you like that. So be the smarter person and do it.
Yeah.
Though I think it was a racing incident.
that's a good
It
Red
was
Bull
a-
answer.
it
Henny.
really was a
It's a good
racing
Red Bull
Yeah,
answer
it was a
over there.
racing
And also,
incident.
I was thinking, why did Lando would have had him next lap? He had-
I don't know about
This
that.
was like
Yeah.
very deep. This is like lap 7
Yeah.
of them fighting,
I
and he
know,
wasn't getting him.
But like it was inching closer and closer.
Yeah.
He still had fresher tires. It wasn't like Max wasn't using his tires. Though I knew he was conserving his battery. But I think to risk it, and just like hope that it was a racing incident.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he got the consequences. Though I don't agree with every penalty that the
was given.
stewards gave out this week or this race. It was kind of confusing. But I also don't know the FIA rules off the top of my
They
head.
make them up every weekend. Neither do we.
Something new.
Yeah. It's like a dictionary, but it's constantly been added.
Changing.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. So I don't know. Like, I think it was a racing incident. It looks fair to me too that both had run off and both had cross. I mean, I'm pretty sure Max was
Yeah, I think
Beyond
they
the
were
white
both
lines,
fully
yeah.
off.
fully off,
Yeah.
right?
Unless they're like one tire was on the white line, so he was
My
still
only
in.
complaint to that is if, as a racing driver now, you know if someone's going to overtake you in that corner,
Yeah.
wait for them to brake after them, both run off the track. He can't overtake you, and if he does, 5-second penalty. So it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I did not like that.
Especially that turn, because he wasn't the only one that got that penalty. Multiple
Yeah, a
drivers
lot
Except
of
Max.
got the penalty.
penalties.
I don't know if Max
He's pushed people off the.
on that turn. I know the first turn was also questionable.
Yeah.
What
Well,
he did
that
to
turn.
Lando,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Lando gave him all the room in the world
He
to do
did.
it. But I don't know. It's hard because I would say it was just like I said earlier. If there was gravel traps, I don't think Lando would have stuck in that racing line. He would have broke and he would have just did the switcheroo because
Well,
he was going to be in the
obviously,
gravel traps. Like which is why a lot of the pundits are saying, why is there no gravel trap there? It's like it makes no sense to just be off road where there's nothing there. And it's because it's a slow corner too. Like it's not like it's gonna create like any safety issues anyways in that corner.
Yeah, but
It's such a slow
so What
corner.
are you going to do then? You got to add a gravel trap to every single corner to
No.
approve their driver? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's more like how the stewards give out these penalties, or
Yeah.
like how they deem certain things are fair, like driving incidents versus certain things that are more of an advantage. I think that's where the ambiguity is because
For sure.
it's all human interpretation. It's not
the rule book.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of gray area.
I think this
Yeah.
is where AI needs to come in.
Just full assessment.
like genuinely, but like I think this is where like data dictates the outcome of the stewards calls versus like humans making a call.
Yeah.
Like circa 2021. But we won't.
Yikes! Now imagine that 2021.
We won't go. We
with
won't
an
dwell
AI.
on that. But
Well,
yeah.
it looks like it's heading that way. We've had great racing. Lando's still within punching rates with the next few races coming up. So who's to say that last race, Abu Dhabi, is not a a winner takes all.
And the next race it's a good racing track as well. You got high speed sections and high speed corners.
Where are we
really
going?
low
You should
speed.
say
Mexico.
Yes.
Mexico.
Checo's home race.
Yeah.
Okay, where do we think Checo will be in his home race?
I mean, last year was a disaster.
Oh,
He'll finish lap 1, so let's get that out.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, like over under.
Over under.
Which lap?
I think he goes into it with a lot of stress.
He does.
That's why last year turned out the way it did, and he's under so much pressure. His seat might be gone. Like maybe his final home race. Like I don't know. I think Checo under pressure is a little bit scary.
I'm gonna
Checo's
say, give him
Choco,
top
remember?
5. Give him top 5. Let's see if he can do top 5
In that car.
Yeah, in that car. Yeah.
I mean,
Top
if
5.
he qualifies in top 10 next week,
Then possibly.
if he gets through to like Q2, I'd be very proud. That's
Okay.
my
Okay,
the
so
bar
top
is
5.
on the floor.
The bar-
over here, Q2 here,
Top 10 finish.
top 10.
Y'all are
Top 10.
smoking something because there's
Top 10. I mean, look, he finished in top P7 this
Yeah,
time.
P7.
how
It's
many
his home
races have
race.
we
It
had?
could be his last
Yeah.
race. Not
Can you
last
tell
race,
me?
last home
I'm gonna.
race. Last
When
home
was the
Apparently he
last?
said
maybe
there's a
potentially his
exactly.
last race. I don't- you
There's
never
been
know.
rumors saying, oh, he's going to retire after
But
Mexico
who would take his
GP.
seat?
Who do you think?
Did we see today? We had a little chat about this,
Yeah.
but Yuki, everyone's saying like, okay, Yuki deserves that seat. He needs that chance. I do kind of agree with that. Is like, you can't assume someone will fail. You have to give him the opportunity.
Yep.
But then we seen Yuki today. He spun on the I don't know
The
what
first
lap.
turn.
First turn. It's just sometimes you can't be making those little silly mistakes. But if Perez was to leave, I think Yuki deserves to have the opportunity. The pressure.
I don't know.
The pressure could. It's like anything. Put someone under pressure, they'll either crack or they could succeed all
Exactly.
expectations. So I think he deserves that chance before Liam Lawson, before someone else. Danny Ricciardo's now gone. That would have been his opportunity. So if Checo was to leave, I'd like to see him.
Honestly, Red Bull said, like, it's anyone's game. You just
Yeah.
got to
I
prove
mean,
it to
that's
us.
what they say,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling they don't really mean it.
No.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think Yuki deserves a chance. Like,
Yeah.
outside of today, his weekend has been fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He did a great job in the sprint, like really great battles. He's obviously talented, so I hope he gets a
Or
shot.
is this like the Albon effect, where now he's up against somebody
Lawson.
much it's similar pace or similar skill set, let's just say, or just like the way Liam Lawson coming in, the energy that he has, he's got a lot of, and he seems to be calm. Like doesn't seem to be making mistakes. Doesn't seem, and I know it's early on, but is it now in contrast? Like, I think this will be telling. The next few races against Liam Lawson would be telling if Yuki is ready for, if he can't handle Liam Lawson.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's
it's
going
over.
to be able
It's over
to-
for him.
But I
be a
think Liam comes in with a lot of confidence, though. Like, he's in the, higher position here, if you will, because he's come in, he gets to take over someone's seat. We know that he's good. He's shown himself already when he took over the seat last year. So he comes in, I think, really confident. And the more we spend time with Yuki in, an AlphaTauri or Visa Cash App, whatever, like, I think he's losing confidence.
He is.
Like, you just keep on trying, and they're like, it's not your time.
Next
you
year.
don't get a chance.
Next year.
But yeah,
Next
but then
year.
what happened when Albon went into Red Bull, the Red Bull seat, and the exact same thing happened where he choked. He wasn't ready for that seat. He went in. The pressure was even more intensified. So if you think about the pressures that exist on Yuki right now, they're intense, but he's comfortable. I think he will be in a much, much more pressured cooker, and either it will completely break his career, or he might come out ahead. But I just haven't seen Yuki do very, very well under intense amounts of pressure before.
Time will
So
tell.
I just don't know. Whereas I think Liam could be like the Piastri effect, where
fresh.
he's just fresh, has so much confidence. So if you put him in a seat that, in a car that can't perform, he might be able to extract a lot because he doesn't have a lot of baggage that comes with him.
Yeah, Yuki has baggage. Imagine
Yuki
having to
has
show up
baggage.
every weekend in like an
Exactly.
awful car and like prove yourself worthy of a Red Bull seat when your
Every
car is
time.
just like being dragged through the race.
Listen, speaking of baggage, Bottas and Zhou Guanyu.
They're like racing
Are
for
they even
fun
a team?
now.
Yeah, are they even a team anymore?
Like that, I actually don't know how both continue next season.
Yeah. Well,
But
yeah.
it's the team, though. They're just waiting until Audi comes in and takes over the team.
But it's more like mentality. Like, how are you in the right headspace
Yeah, I think Joe's gone for sure. I don't
Joe's
think he's resigning
gone.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It sounds like Bottas is going to stay.
Stay.
I don't know if he should. That's
Yeah.
another question.
Yeah.
The thing is, you do need that senior driver for feedback from testing and whatever. So if they were to bring in a rookie, let's say they brought in Franco, you can't rely on a rookie and another rookie to give all the team feedback. That's where Bottas.
But it's not 2 rookies. You got Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk is
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
You got,
I was like,
No,
they,
sorry.
They should
Bottas.
bring in a rookie.
I think, they should invest in
Yes,
a rookie.
long
In
term.
a,
No, that's true. Hey, I retract
Look,
that step.
Yeah.
Maybe I think this is why they're holding out. I know Franco is held with Williams Academy
Yeah.
and Gabriel's held with McLaren. So I think they're pretty much just holding out to see how Franco does in the next few races to be like, okay, what's the buyout? Like, let's sign a
Yeah.
long term with you before they sign Bottas.
I forgot Hulk was going there. I totally
Yeah.
forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what they're waiting on because they're like, if it's worth the price, we're going to sign you in for long term. If not, then we'll just have Bottas come in for another 2 years. Bring the sponsorship, bring the leadership, both.
his sexy calendars.
Exactly. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Branding
Make
wise, it
some
makes
money.
sense. It's
Branding,
going to make
yeah.
Audi so
Yeah.
much money.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what they're prioritizing, clearly.
Yeah. It should be interesting. I can't wait for next race. I'm excited
It's going to
to
be so much fun.
I'm hoping Mercedes are a little bit more part of the race next week. And it's a triple header. So this is
The first one?
yeah, is it the first of the season?
No. Triple header? No, we had another one.
Yeah, I thought we did.
We had another
did,
one.
but
Earlier,
I
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the first half. But yeah, I'm excited to see what like the Mercedes can do. I'm not putting a lot of hope. I'm excited to see what Perez. I hope he doesn't choco.
I'm actually scared about Ferrari. I forgot. The
Yeah.
altitude. They had the last 2 years, they had to detune their engines.
Yeah.
Because they will overheat.
Yeah, true.
And he was complaining about
Oh, yeah, I
Stuff
forgot
today.
about
But
that.
like it's more so like Lando Max. Do we like all
Yeah.
jokes
Oh,
aside?
it's
do
on
we
them.
see Lando? Sorry, do we see Max having a DNF? Because I think if it's out pure and pure racing, I think Max might have that edge.
That's the
Will
thing.
Max have a DNF?
I think Lando needs to learn how Max drives. He will take you
But
out.
I think he knows that.
Lando needs to learn how to maximize a P1
Yeah.
start. Oh my god!
And take home the win.
Yes.
I mean,
Or Lando just drives Max off the road both DNF.
Or-
Can't grow these
or-
points.
or-
that doesn't
Oscar.
help Lando.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I get
That would actually help Oscar. So that's right. Oscar does the team player thing and takes Max out.
yeah.
That would be
that would be a real team player.
that
move.
is a real team player
Yeah.
situation.
No.
I'm pretty sure there'll be fines flying around, but
Yeah, their goal is P1 and P2 qualifying for McLaren. Hold down Max. Of course, Oscar's going to hold him back. And then hopefully that's 8 points, 9-point difference every race for the next 6
I mean,
races.
do we think that's realistic? I kind
No.
of think the champion fight is over. That's my take.
What
is
are we
that
at,
after
50
today?
No, like it's
Yeah, he actually,
let me just
Lando
double check.
lost
I mean,
points
Charles
today.
Leclerc is super close to Lando, so I think the fight might be now for P2.
two.
Like, I just don't know if P1 is
hang on.
Sorry,
realistic.
so Max Verstappen right now is 354 points. Lando is 297.
okay.
Charles Leclerc is 275.
Yeah, I think there's like a
Whoa.
gap of 28 or 29
Yeah.
points between them, which is
Okay.
another, race win for Charles.
Yeah.
And
Charles is a king.
And
Damn.
we have how many more races? We have 5.
That's hilarious.
I think
now
there's 5
now
left.
Piastri's going to have to defend Charles.
Yeah,
Not even
yeah.
Max anymore. For
No,
that
but
P2.
it makes it interesting. We're back at that. Like it's every weekend
Close.
is very race because it's close.
Yeah.
It's so close, and like we can't finish the pod without giving props to Charles' season because last year kind of went viral. Me going through Charles'
Demise.
demise
DNF.
and just DNF and just sheer. I don't know if it was luck, but just not great season. But this year, I mean, he's had such a fairy tale season. I mean, not every race was great, but the wins he's had, he won in Monaco, his home race. He won in Monza, which is his team's home race. And then he won during his birthday week.
Oh, yeah, it was his birthday weekend.
oh,
Yeah. So like he's now like a triple, like 3 for 3. Like he could retire.
He's got the triple crown.
He's a triple crown. He's won on his birthday week, birthday month, whatever. I think he's
I mean,
done.
he's won when it mattered.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
There
think
you
the
go.
first
Yeah.
half of the season was,
yeah.
Mid.
but I
He's-
mean, he
he's
showed up
won-
when it mattered. So
So maybe he just needs to go into every race celebrating something.
Yeah.
And that way,
hey, statistical chance he can win the world championship this year. I don't know.
Listen,
I should have.
every race he's
If
like,
Max and
yeah.
Lando take
poster.
each other out,
I was just
every
going to say,
race.
actually, maybe, yeah.
That's all it takes.
Basically, yeah, all McLaren and Max need to DNF every single
Which
race.
is possible. I mean, knowing how close they fight, like I think it's an advantage for other teams when you know that
100%.
Max and Lando are starting next to each other every single time.
Yeah, I mean, George Russell, had he not started at P20, he would have been there today.
Yeah.
He would have
would've took
finished
the
the
lead,
podium.
knowing
Has to
him.
win today.
It was forecasted.
But Mexico also, it's a great track for side-to-side racing. So there will be accidents. So next week will
be fun.
be spicy.
Yes. I'm
Maybe
excited.
another safety car. I'm so happy they're back.
The
First-
last
Forgot what they
one
looked
since,
like.
what was it?
Montreal.
Montreal.
Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. That's what, 11,
It was a
12
lost start
races?
for a
Yeah.
while, but we're
Jeez.
But
so back.
despite the lack of safety cars, though, you can't say this year has been boring.
No.
I mean,
Maybe
last
the
race,
first,
We've
the
had a
first
few
7.
snooze fests.
Yeah, last race was
But-
meh, but
Yeah.
then when it was the last race, Singapore.
No, Singapore was...
Who?
Yeah, it was,
yeah,
it was
it
a
was
snooze fest
Orlando.
until
yeah.
like
A
the
little
last.
bit, yeah.
It was Orlando
But it was
show.
still nail-biting because it was like he was 24 seconds up, but he was hitting a wall every second corner. So it was like...
Unnecessarily.
Okay, now you're finding things to be excited
No,
about.
no, no.
Because
I enjoy that, though. I enjoyed that.
I completely was snoring.
No, that was a snooze fest.
I was not
Certain aspects of that race I enjoyed.
like there are times
the
where I'm like, oh,
qualifying?
something is boring.
And it was like at 6 in the morning, like
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
it
7.
was early.
Come on.
I'm there. Yeah. So this was fun.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great race.
Let's do it.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Any last?
I hope Alonso and Lawson make up and they're best friends again.
Guys, Alonso world champion next year. I'm
rooting for it.
forecasting it now.
Forecasting a championship.
I'm telling you. With the Newey machine, we're so there.
Let's
Oh
get it.
man.
That's 2026. I don't even think next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Next
that's
year's
definitely-
the lead up, P2.
There's also something called delusion. But it's okay. Delulu is
You have
the
to find
solution.
your own happiness,
It's
okay?
somewhere.
Make your own happiness.
Love that for us.
Oh, awesome. I would love to know what you guys think about this race. A lot happened, but thank you guys so much for tuning in, and make sure to like, subscribe, and do all the above. And
Comment,
we'll
tell your
see ya.
friends,
Yes.
tell your aunt, your grandpa, your everyone. Tell them to listen to Track Limits, and maybe we'll see you in Toronto
at
at
the
our
next
next
race watch.
live
Yeah.
Exactly.
race watch event.
Awesome. We'll see you next.
Bye.